A while back, I started to notice a trend among high-level players when they went for air dribbles. Many of them have an amazing ability to just stick the ball to their car. So in the early days, a good air dribble across the field would be like 3 or 4 or 5 touches, sometimes even less, sometimes just a couple touches. At this point, for some players today, you can't even determine how many touches they're getting because they're literally just carrying the ball. I think I noticed this first in the Air Dribble 1v1 between Bluey and Sebadam.
Oh, 1 on the keyboard. There we go. Bluey is the man for this, to be honest. I knew that if we're doing an Air Dribble only 1v1, this is the man we need to contact. Look at that, way from inside his own half, it doesn't even matter.
The way Bluey gets the ball to stick to his car is disgusting.
Fast forward a few months and Johnny Boy held a 1v1 air dribble between Bluey and Jstn, arguably 2 of the best air dribblers in the world at that time. Jstn was also incredible at just getting the ball stuck to his car, even when his momentum was incredibly low, like when he did a turtle air dribble, for example. He'd come off the wall with very little speed and almost no momentum, and he'd get a really light first touch, and the ball would look like it was just, falling to the ground with his car. It looked like it would just be a failed air dribble. And then he'd manage to regain his lift and his speed. It was like the ball didn't weigh as much for him. But after practicing it, I knew that he just had the ability to get his car positioned perfectly, and he knew how to boost in a particular way. So fast forward to now. In the past few months or so, freestylers have been really pushing this mechanic, and one freestyler in particular. Now, just recently, I think it was maybe a month or 2 ago, I saw this clip on Ganer's Twitter. So I set out to learn how to do this, and my hope was actually that I could maybe even beat the record for the longest air dribble with unlimited boost. That's really the only mutator, so you can do this in free play or you can do it in an exhibition or whatever. Now, part of me thought it was possible. Most of me kind of knew that I probably wasn't going to be able to do this, or at least I wouldn't be able to break the record, in a couple days. It would take longer than that. But after hours and hours of doing it, yeah, I didn't break the record. I'm not quite there yet, but I did improve a ton, and I've gotten to where I can carry the ball high into the goal with what I would say is indistinguishable touches. It's like I'm just, carrying it. The ball's just glued to my car. And I was also able to get some shots where I was just really carrying it out into the field and air rolling in such a way that the ball was just sort of floating out in the field. It was really crazy. And it's insanely difficult. It takes tons of practice, but here's some of the things that I've learned in working on this that could maybe help you if for some reason you want to work on this. So the first thing is that in order to get the ball on top of your car and really have it stick to your car, you have to sort of float your car slowly to the ball and wait for the ball to just, kind of settle on your car. And at that point, you then boost upwards and forwards with a lot of momentum. You really can't get a super hard first touch, in other words. Otherwise, you'll just keep getting really hard first touches. You have to float up towards the ball, I guess is a way of describing it. And this is a really fun thing to work on, and I know this is probably going to be very difficult for many of you. If you're interested in just working on air dribbles in general, there's a bunch of tutorials that are out there. I have one and others do as well. So I'll put some links in the description below if you just want to work on the basics of air dribbles. Because if you haven't noticed already, I'm not getting into the basics. Anyways, I got this down. I started getting some carries where it really felt like I was stopping in the air and actually changing the direction of the ball completely. Because when I first set out to work on this, I wasn't working on necessarily getting better at air dribbling it into the goal. I was actually just trying to break the record and just see how long I could air dribble it. And at points I was coming to a complete standstill in the air and then managing to recover and keep the air dribble going, which was pretty cool. Now, once you get to this point, that point where the ball sort of should be falling down with your car and you're really pushing it upwards and fighting gravity, you basically have to be holding down your boost completely. And that was the mistake I was making at first, or for the first hour or 2 hours of doing this. You can't feather your boost anymore. Feathering your boost is enough to keep your car in the air when there's nothing on top of it, but with the weight of the ball on top of it, you really have to push the ball upwards and keep your car positioned perfectly under the car. One slight mistouch and the whole thing gets messed up. It basically takes a million perfect touches to do this. And the other thing you have to force yourself to work on if you really want to stop the ball or if you're trying to attempt the longest air dribble is you have to air roll quite a bit. And preferably, you'd also be able to do tornado spins and control the ball in that way. Now, I have yet to implement tornado spins into my air dribbling, and I have my keybinds in such a way that I can only tornado spin one way. And I believe Ganer told me that when he carries the ball like this, he's mostly using tornado spins. Like I don't even know if he's air rolling very much, maybe a little bit, but mostly he said he's just tornado spinning. And that makes sense because that sort of keeps your car outside of the ball while being under it. It like positions your car in a way that keeps your momentum like going forwards, but also up. Now, even though I never broke the record for the longest air dribble, I'm gonna keep trying. And I really did learn a ton, and I got way better at this in just a few hours of practicing. There were a few moments where I thought, this is it. Like, I've been doing this for 8 seconds or something like that. I can do it. And then I would just flop down to the ground. But it really did help my air dribbling like so much. So at this point now, it's just so easy for me to catch the ball in the air and basically direct it to the top corner, or even direct it to the backboard and dunk it in. The problem is that it uses a ton of boost. So if you're in a game and you have like 40 boost and you come off the wall, you're much better off going for like a double touch or something like that. But if you have 100 boost, you'll use all of it, but it's pretty awesome. So I hope you guys found this one helpful. I know this isn't the absolute most important skill in the game, but here's how I look at these things. You shouldn't spend all of your time working on crazy mechanics and skills, but mastering things like this really does make you a better player. Things like this help you get a better understanding of how to control the ball, how to control your car, how the physics of Rocket League work. I have always seen improvement in my overall game when I practice things like this. So just have fun with this one, guys, and let me know if you break the record or get close. Just post it on Twitter if you've got any crazy shots or you're able to carry the ball for a really long time, and tag me, and if I see anything cool, I'll retweet it. So thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace out.